Welcome to Through the Rough, a place where real-life people share the real-life experiences that have shaped us into who we are today.
Welcome back to part 5 of Matt's 30-year journey through Texas law enforcement.
That's
You just crack
that
up.
is fucking that's fucking hilarious.
I saw this. Speaking of funny, I saw this video of this. These officers responding to this house. They went to the lady and they're like asking her, "So we need to search your car." And she's like, "What?" And she's questioning, like, "What are you talking about here?" And he's like, "There is hair hanging outside of your trunk, and we need to search this." And all of a sudden, she looks and she's like, "Oh my god!" And she's like, "It's my wig." My God, she runs inside and gets her keys so she could go out, and everyone just starts laughing because it literally was a wig that she was
Got caught.
pulling things
Yeah.
out of her trunk, and it got pulled out. And when she shut the trunk, half of the wig was still out and half of it was in, so it looked like someone's hair
Looks like a
was
body
in
was
the
in the
trunk.
trunk.
Yeah, so
And
yeah, I mean, so you come across funny stuff like that, you know?
That's at least like I would love to put my eyes on that on that police report.
I mean, there is no report.
You don't have to write a report on just for going out. You don't have
No,
to write a
no.
report
I mean, some
if there's
departments
not an incident.
because there's no crime that happened.
yeah,
I mean, sometimes you might just do like an information report.
Yeah, something
Just-
like you don't even have to.
No,
like-
I mean, you could document it in the call slip,
yeah.
you know, because the computer, you can put memos in the call slip and put like, you know, assault, understanding.
Moment of passion gone
Moment of-
awry.
Yeah, moment of passion, kid misunderstood. So, yeah. But most of the time, it's just, most of the work was mundane.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and that's, of course, that's what leads to us getting hurt because we do the same thing day in, day out, and you get complacent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say you must get a little complacent.
Yeah, man, it's the same traffic stop, so I'm not going to be as on guard as I was, you know, when I first got on.
It's always the same bullshit here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always the same
And then that's
family.
that
history.
one where that guy, you walk up to the door, tap on the glass, and that guy pulls out a gun.
Yeah, and then, so there was these two officers, they get a disturbance call, and they end up dropping an assist, and they're way up in the second ward, and I'm way deep in the third ward, and like, when you drop an assist, everybody goes.
yeah.
What does that mean? Like a drop and assist means they hit over the radio that they need assistance?
Yeah, they need help,
Okay.
right? And so we fly up there, and the gist of the story is this guy's tripping on cocaine, and his family kicks him out of the house.
Okay.
And then calls the police. Like, well, he starts breaking their house up because he was tearing up their house inside
Yeah.
because he's tripping. And so they kick him out of the house. Well, he goes to his neighbor's house and like busts a big plate glass front window while he's trying to climb in.
Cut himself to shit, I suppose.
Well, he cuts the artery in the arm,
No.
right? And then he like cut his thumb and it was hanging and stuff. Well, they don't know this. So they pull up and this guy sees him, runs over there to their car, jumps on the hood, and they just got a brand new patrol shop, you know, and that's what we called our cars. We called them shops because that's where we did our work,
Yeah.
shops, you know, and brand new thing had like a couple 100 miles on it, right? Guy jumps on it, bleeding everywhere, bam. And they smoked. They were like chimneys. They smoked so much. So the windows were down. So they were going to ruin that car quick because they smoked so much.
Yeah.
And, so the windows are down. Well, the guy jumps on the hood, rolls off, then dives through the driver's side window.
Into the patrol car.
Yeah, while they're still in it. So they're bailing out the passenger side, right? And he's
Jealous.
crawling through the thing. He picks up the radio, and they've already dropped this assist. He picks up the radio and starts screaming in the mic. So all we're hearing driving up there, not knowing what's going on, is this. So we get up there, you know, we jump on the guy, you know, and handcuff him and hog tie him, interlock him.
Yeah.
And he's just, and I'm like, hey man, that guy died. And like HFD's there and like, whoa. And then they unhook him and get him out of there. And
Did he die?
oh yeah, cocaine induced psychosis.
Shut the fuck up.
Heart exploded.
No shit.
And
That's
that's why you
insane.
got to be careful. Like now when we hog tie people, we got to put them on their side
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you don't want you need
You
that
want-
chest to compress.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
not
yeah.
to be compressed. It needs to expand and,
Mhm.
Contract.
you know, so yeah, so you put them on their side. And then when you transport them, they have to be on their side. They cannot be laying down. And so, but, you know, we just got through wrestling with this guy, got bled all over us, you know, and then of course, you know, he dies. And then, you know, like I said, the partners, they smoke, you know, chain smokers, and they're all nervous now because we got an in custody death, you know. Now homicide is showing up, internal affairs shows up, you know, and we're fine.
Yeah.
You know, everything's fine on it, but you know, it's still stressful.
Oh, I can only
it's very
imagine.
So
I
they're
mean,
just, you know, smoking. And, you know, and there was another they had a beat officer and total broke dick. All he cared about was traffic.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't want to run calls. All he did was, and
You want
he's
to give people speeding tickets?
yeah, that's all he did. And he would take people for city warrants, you know, and he'd write tickets. And so he's out on a traffic stop. Okay. Well, he never came to the assist and he was the closest. I'm way deep and I got there like second, you know, and there was another guys coming from the jail and they exited the freeway and it was them first and then me right behind them.
Yeah.
And so, and then everybody else. And then, so one of my old buddies, man, he bumps this guy. He goes, "Hey, man, you need to come here." He's like, "Well, I'm about to go to jail." "No, you need to come here first," you know?
Yeah.
And then, of course, he comes there, right? And our sergeant's there, and we got HFD, the families out there crying because their son, husband just died, you know?
Yeah.
And that guy shows up, and he goes, "Man, don't you start," and they start motherfucking each other, right? You know, "Don't you tell," and he's like, "How you?"
Who is he talking to?
The officers are talking to each other.
Okay.
The one that stayed on the traffic stop showed up, and my buddy who bumped him, well, he jumps on his ass right off the bat. "What the fuck you thinking, man? Staying out on traffic. You got guys asking for help, and you on some BS city warrants.
Yeah.
Don't you start with?"
Yeah.
And they start, and you know the family, like, "Hey,"
You're like,
I don't
crying.
know what's going
chaos.
on.
And then she stops and just looks like, "Really?" You know. And thank God the sergeant's like, "Hey, go. You know, you don't do that." You know. But it's just like,
Chaos.
yeah, it's chaos, man. You know. And what, you know, hey, don't be a broke dick, dude. Show up
I can
because the next time you
feels
need
like
help,
all of it's chaos.
yeah, next time you need help, hey, you don't like showing up to ours, so why should we go to yours?
Yeah.
But
I mean, is that really? Is that
some
does that-
some do that? I wouldn't because that guy still has a family. and
Yeah.
he needs to go home. Yeah, you know, I might not go as fast as I could. You know,
No.
maybe let him get a couple thumps in on.
Oh my God.
No, so yeah, I mean, and then of course.
Mhm.
Couple days later, hey, that guy had hepatitis, and you know, so 8
Oh
of us,
God. And you covered in his blood.
yeah,
Oh shit.
oh yeah, 8 of us are down at the St. Luke's getting blood panels, you know, testing for all infectious diseases that we got exposed to by this guy.
That's one thing that in healthcare, yeah, we get that kind of stuff all the time too, but I don't ever think about it. I mean, I have, but to the general population to think about that too. You're dealing with blood and stuff, and like that's a whole nother factor.
Hepatics,
Oh yeah.
and then and then with us, I mean, how many times I've been bled on? I mean, I might have had HIV, and you don't know.
Yeah.
Unless and then you got to get a grand jury summons to get that guy's blood work done if he's alive. And then, you have to go through
All
the court.
sorts of legalities and
It's
shit.
really not that hard. All you do is you just contact the DA's office in Harris County. It was like this. And it's like, "Hey, man, this guy bled on me. I need a blood panel from him to see." And they'll do it.
Right
It's
on.
the same kind of thing at the hospitals. You have to kind of, if you got exposed by a patient's blood or fluid,
Yeah. I lost count how
to
many
get
times.
they have to do testing on them, and they have to consent to like have extra blood tests so they can figure out
Yeah.
if they do have anything.
I lost count how many times I've been exposed to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know.
Well, that being said, losing count, we're about 2.5 hours in. Let's go ahead and take a break and stretch our legs. You guys cool with that?
Sure.
You guys, the listeners won't know, but we'll be back in just a minute. And one, we're back. That was a really fast bathroom break. A second? Was it about a half a second?
Yeah.
Well, the older you get, you stay there longer.
You got to
There's-
wait it
there's
out a
not
little
as
bit.
much. Keep pushing, and
You're like, oh, there's a little more.
you just get trickles.
Once the farts are gone, they're like, push any harder.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful.
My being here for a while.
Because you also get to the age you can't trust a fart either.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never
mean,
been able
that's
to
kind
trust
of-
one.
it's
After
so-
watching yours, Lindsay.
What?
How red your cheeks are.
I know.
Batters her hair.
I know.
They
Sam
say,
always.
what's a real surprise? Like, what's a surprise? Well, that is a fart with a lump in it, my friend. That is a surprise.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because that's no longer a fart.
No.
A fart with a
Yeah.
lump in it.
And yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, we're talking about that too. I mean, yeah, you deal with these homeless people and what they have and just the dirtiness of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes the scene happens so quick, you don't have time to put on rubber gloves, latex gloves to
To protect yourself.
Yeah. So
I assume when you were talking about that, and it's not just like shower, but like excrement bills, urine, stuff like that as well, or just
yeah. Part of the areas that we used to work, Midtown, it's not like this anymore. A lot of high-rise apartments, townhomes now in this area. When I first got on, Midtown was like a lot of empty fields. I wish I would have bought a couple lots.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
because now the land's worth, because it's just outside of downtown. Then it blew up with these townhomes and
Yeah.
clubs and apartment complexes. But back then you had a lot of like day labor places. You had like bathhouses, and they're not like no Turkish bathhouse, you know, the homosexual style bathhouses, you know, and where you could rent a room and do what you need to do and stuff. Well, I was floating. Yeah, I was still on probation, and I think it was a homicide unit bumped to help him run a warrant at one of these bathhouses because the guy who worked there was wanted for like ag assault or something.
Okay.
And because homicide, you know, our homicide dealt with dead bodies, but they also would do the follow-ups on like aggravated assaults.
Okay.
So if I shot somebody and you didn't die, you know, I would do the initial report. They're not going to come out and investigate that, but it'll be assigned to one of them to do the follow-up to try and identify the suspect or whatever. So, you know, so we go to arrest this guy. You know, he works at this bathhouse, and let's just say, you know, at the end of it, when we finally got him, because, you know, it's all cameraed up, so he sees us coming in. So he's at the front desk. Well, he runs in there. Well, we have it surrounded. Well, he would run down the back stairs while we go upstairs. Then he would run up the other stairs while we're going, you know, it was just, and we finally got him. And, you know, of course they had the maze with the glory holes, and, you know, and we got to go through them. We had to open up all the doors of all the rooms, you know, and who knows if we had a purple light, what would glow,
Oh boy.
you know? So, you know,
Are you in hazmat gear?
no, you know, but on scenes like that, dude, I got to finish my shift, but, you know, I'm buying new boots before I go home.
Yeah.
You're like,
You
these
know,
are going in the trash.
It's dangerous. It's not
Yeah, just the stuff that's on that floor.
Yeah.
And, you know, and the thing about the third ward and a lot of the houses in Houston, we called them shotgun shacks. So the houses were kind of rectangle, if you will, front door in the middle, and then you would have two windows on the side, but you could stand at the front door, shoot a shotgun out the back door, and then the rooms were to the side. So that's why we call them shotgun shacks. Or that's why they were called shotgun shacks way before.
Is that your Geritol alarm?
Yes.
You guys didn't hear his alarm go off.
It's time for me to take my old person nap.
Damn, you gotta take your back pill.
Yeah, I need to eat so I can take
Get off my, you know. But old man,
back to that American flag bandana now.
Carter boy. And so I lost my train of thought, man.
Sticky shoes.
Yeah,
Gotta change your shoes.
Yeah, I mean, on the shotgun shacks, you know, well, a lot of them become just crack houses, you know, homeless, you know, they're dilapidated, run down. Well, people just hang out them and smoke crack. So they're smoke houses. And so they have no running water, no electricity or whatever. Well, so they have buckets, like 5-gallon buckets of piss and crap in there because that's what they use.
Yeah.
And so you walking in there and that's all you're smelling. That's all you're seeing. There's roaches everywhere. And, you know, in Texas, we got the big ones.
Yeah.
That's,
you know,
that's interesting because that's what you're talking about right now. Man, nobody knows this stuff. This isn't the shit you see on TV. This isn't the shit that's in the movies. This isn't the shit that's on, what was that? NYPD Blue. It's none of that. This isn't the stuff you see on the internet. You're telling us real shit, real stuff.
Literally.
Yeah, well, literally buckets of shit. like you're not glamorizing it. People don't understand that.
And, you know, I mean, you walk in there, and I remember one scene where we walked in on a deal, and there were kids, and we called CPS, and they showed up and took those kids right off the bat.
Like how old?
Like young. I mean, maybe the oldest might have been 10 or something.
No shit.
But
in those environments.
Yes.
Oh
And that's
That's fucking heartbreaking.
That's
man.
not uncommon though. And, you know, and then you wonder why these kids continue on the path that their parents did.
You have people who live in suburbia. Let's just call it suburbia life, right? And yet they have no idea that this like there's drug problems, or there's homeless problems, but have no actual connection to what is really looks like inside of that world and that environment.
Yeah, I mean, they have no water, they have no electricity, you know, so they use these buckets to use the bathroom. You know, the kids sleep on whatever mattress they have thrown down on the floor. The house is full of roaches, you know.
So for somebody to say, you can do better, man, motherfucker, do you have any idea how hard it is to crawl out of something like that and make your life a successful life?
Yeah.
That is every single card is stacked against you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a huge, and I mean, like I told you, I can understand why a kid walks out of his house and chooses to go and be a dope dealer and banger, because at least he's going to get money in his, you know, he's going to have money.
in that mentality or that mental space for them, that's their breakout. They
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah. At least,
anything is better than what they came from.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Or I can go to school and get made fun of, and maybe you can get a crappy education because it's an inner city school,
Yeah.
and then because we'd rather spend millions of dollars on football stadiums instead of education.
Yeah.
And
I have a feeling that's all about to change, but yeah, I hope.
hopefully,
Yeah.
but I'll donate money, but it's got to go to the football stadium. Well, that's we need education. We need to bring these kids up.
Yeah.
It's a different topic altogether. Somebody more important who's
Yeah.
more knowledgeable than me.
No, I got you. I
about
know,
that.
but I agree with the sentiment. Like I completely agree.
I
I
mean,
think
yeah, there's definitely sports is more important. Man, how many percent make it?
Yeah.
less than one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you're going to dump. Yeah, you want nice facilities by far, but come on.
That's
We need
the
the
cash grab.
we need
Yeah.
that kid to learn how to read and write before they know how
Oh
to
yeah,
play
by
football.
far, by far. And then of course, the math that Connor's learning now, I can't help him on that. When they changed it to this core math, and like, how am I going to help my boy with? I don't know this crap.
I wonder if that's not by design. Like you get to a certain generation, then you flip the script on how you do it, and then it confuses the shit out of us in our 40s and 50s. We don't know what the fuck we're looking at.
Well,
The
then
kids all know it.
Then they should switch to metric and really confuse us.
God.
And then we can have
The metric
Then we all
system
need to go back to school.
realistically is
then we can
way
have Canada
easier.
come up here and tell us how to do it.
About time they show up, eh?
Well, I mean, I can
Gosh,
do. I can
They're
do.
gonna bring me down a whole liter of maple syrup.
Yeah, I can do grams and kilos for you, but that's the extent of my metric. Because that's what we weighed.
Yeah.
But that's what we weighed our dope
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
in grams and kilos.
Because it's
you
a
know?
universal standard.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, but but we're English here. Why are we using metric measures? Why is it not?
But the United States is like one of the only countries in the world that uses the standard.
Yeah, we
Isn't
do.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody else uses metric.
Yeah, like I don't know what the fuck the holdup is. We should have switched over to metric a long time ago.
Well, now it's kind of like I said, if they do, everyone's going back to school.
Yeah,
Half the damn cars in the world, you have to have metric tools.
yeah, yeah,
So
pretty much.
yeah,
So, but yeah, so I can understand why at the time you don't. But now, reflecting back on life and looking at the things and the disadvantages that these kids have in these areas, and I'm not all about just giving them money.
if you, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, here's a
no.
question for you. If
But
you
you gotta do something better to
If-
uplift that area.
if you could have Aladdin's lamp right now, rub that thing, and you could make a wish to a genie that would affect those inner cities, like what would you do? What was if you could? It's only one thing. What could you do? Like, you can't fix it all, but you can add one element.
I would improve education.
And you think that would make a vast difference?
I think that would be a start.
Yeah, I mean, I agree completely.
Yeah. I think I think education is a way of independence.
Yeah.
And having
Critical thinking.
and
You
yeah.
need that critical thinking, man.
And it can get you out of these I'm not saying it's the sole thing that can get anyone out of but having that advantage, I do believe education is an advantage for a human. Because the more educated you can navigate things, I think better. Having
Paths.
that, it's a
How,
good
how many
tool.
more paths open up because you have an education?
And it teaches. I think it helps. Well, going through a structured program anyway
By far.
helps with discipline, accountability,
Yeah.
Repercussion, things like that.
By far.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I think
mean, I
education
failed.
goes a
I
long
failed
way.
the 6 weeks of Spanish, so I didn't get to swim for the next 6 weeks. No
Yeah.
pass, no play.
Wait, what? You didn't get to swim because you failed Spanish?
Yeah, Texas.
Because
We
he
had,
was in
no
the swim team.
yeah, no pass, no play.
Oh yeah, that went away with Nancy Reagan, didn't it?
No,
No child left behind.
No,
No, that wasn't
that was
Reagan, wasn't it?
that was Barbara.
Barbara Bush.
That was
No child
Bush.
left behind.
But no, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't get rid of no pass, no play. I don't think.
Really, I don't know.
There,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
mean,
think
I've
it
been out of
depends
high
on
school.
each, state and school, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of school districts, like, yeah, if you get in trouble or you're failing classes, you're not playing that game.
Your
or that
primary
center.
focus
Yeah.
is education.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not you playing football. Now, I don't know if you remember. You remember Dexter Manley, Washington Redskins defensive end. So Dexter Manley grew up in the 3rd Ward. A stud football player. Went to Jack Yates High School, and then went to Oklahoma State. Stud and got drafted by the Redskins and was a stud defensive end Redskins when they won Super Bowls in the early 80s, like with Joe Theismann,
Yeah.
I think, and, Riggins, remember the running back Riggins and stuff. And, because I'm a little older than you, so.
I was a San Francisco fan back then, man. My uncle was a Washington Redskins fan.
But, I mean,
yeah, I
but
know
they
what
won
you're
the
talking
Super
about, that
Bowl
era.
back in,
Yeah, yeah.
with Manley. Well, it comes out that, I forget how it came out, but he didn't know how to read or write pretty much. And he would say that, people, hey man, read this about you. And he's like, just read it while I'm getting dressed. So he'd be able to get around it. But it finally came out that he didn't know how to read or write because he was such a great football player, they passed him.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened in college.
No child left
I
behind.
mean, we're talking like 70s, you know.
Yeah.
And
That's a bullshit abuse of power, honestly.
well, what's the money draw?
No, well, I'm saying abuse of power, but they just push this guy through. And if you think about how that man was used, he
Oh.
used him.
Oh, by far. Yeah.
Nobody cared about him. If they
No.
cared about him, they would have taught him how to fucking read and write.
Yeah. And so, well, he ends up getting kicked out because he pissed dirty a couple of times.
Yeah, out of the NFL.
Yeah. And for cocaine, of course. And then he becomes a full-fledged crack fiend. And
went
so
right back
back
into that circle.
back in the third ward.
And he was out.
Yeah. And sure enough, I mean, he was still a big dude, man. And I remember coming across him. There used to be a convenience store at Elgin and Dowling, or now it's called Emancipation Parkway, because Dowling was an ex-Confederate general, so they had to change the street name. And and Frank's, it was a chop shop, fence place. So, and he was there. It was like 3 a.m, and he was still a big dude, man. He was a full-fledged fiend, but his arms were he still had guns on him, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, I hope God I don't have to fight this guy.
Oh my God.
Because he was still a big dude.
Just pick you up and move you where he
And
wants.
no
Yeah.
matter what, he's a defensive line. Like that man's gonna
Yeah, I mean, he was a defensive end for
Yeah.
the Redskins in the 80s,
slam your whole body into him. Probably
Yeah.
not gonna budge
Yeah,
him.
and he's like, "Oh, I'm just trying to get a lighter." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, man! I don't know what you're doing. Get, shoo!" Like he's a cow and trying to shoo
Yeah.
him out. Shoo, get, And so he leaves, and then like a couple years later, man, he's at the Marriott or whatever hotel in the medical center, and they're like, he hasn't paid his bill. He needs to be gone. He's probably up there blazing away, and not weed,
Yeah.
hitting the pipe up there.
Uh.
So we're banging on the door, dude. You got to go. Whoa, And yeah, he ended up going to TDC,
What's
What's
TDC?
prison,
Okay.
Texas Department of Corrections. So yeah, I mean, he went to prison for it and stuff like that. But I mean, he was, even though he was a full-fledged fiend, straight up big dude still. He was one of the rare ones that didn't like
Shrivel away.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't as big as he was when he played, but man, he was still a big dude. And I'd see him, I'm like, please, I don't want to fight this big dude. Just listen to me. And he was always respectful. I mean, and then there was a Cadillac. It was still registered to him, but he gave it to dope dealers. And that's not uncommon. That that's the thing about crack is you get so addicted to it. You go through all your money, you go through your possessions. They steal your shit. That's why a lot of BMWs and people breaking into cars, they're usually crack fiends, or and they do whatever they can, prostitution, to get money.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, I'll give you my car, you give me a couple rocks.
Just like that.
Yeah. And so now the dealer's got a car. Well, now that after you're done getting high and stuff, where's my car? Then you report it stolen. And then we're chasing you down because you're in a stolen car, but it's a dope rental. And, and then, when you're dealing with them, and then when you're calling the district attorney, it's like, this is a dope rental, man. And so most of the times they wouldn't take the charges because, no, you gave your car for dope and now you want it back.
Yeah.
Okay, you got your car back. Shut up. Yeah. So we have that, but Dexter. So yeah, I'd run this Cadillac. Boop, Dexter Manley.
There it is.
Gave his
Yeah, there
car
it is.
away.
Yeah.
Well, you think about the whole story and the fact that, he unfortunately got kicked out of the NFL, but the man couldn't even read and write. So what is he going to do next? Because all he knows.
Yeah. What the hell are you
With
going to
football.
do?
And then he went through his money,
Yeah.
all that he made, and I guess he was doing probably powder then, while he's in the NFL or whatever, and then developed into a crack addict or whatever. So, and that's something, these dope dealers, we'd jump out on them and they would hold the dope in their mouth, right? Well, we jump out on them and then they swallow it. Well, they end up becoming fiends eventually because they're ingesting cocaine.
Wouldn't that isn't that's
Well,
fucking-
sometimes, yeah, they OD
do they
and
die?
Yeah, sometimes they have, depending on how much they swallow. Or this is the good thing, or they carry it in their prison wallet, and then
I learned that one today.
That's
Yeah.
a butthole.
and then you go to buy it, and then they pull it out and give it to you, and then you're
Now you
now
have
granted,
hepatitis and cold sores.
you're putting it in that glass tube, and you're not really putting it in your mouth, but unless you don't have it yet.
If it was
and
in
then I jump
somebody's
out and then
puddle.
you're throwing it in your mouth.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. Bud.
Oh boy.
ATM, dude.
Gross. Yeah, ATM.
ATM or TMI. I don't.
A little both.
Yeah.
My goodness.
So yeah, and
So far, this is a fascinating dive into a world that not nobody, but a fascinating dive into a world that people just don't know.
well, and like I said, you could talk to a guy I rode with, and he can tell you completely different stories.
Yeah.
And-
Of
and
even of the
different-
same event.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
responses and he can go, man, what he told you, he's full of it. He don't know nothing. This is how it was.
Yeah.
This is the way I see it. This is the way I dealt with it. My way's not right. It doesn't necessarily mean this is what I experienced
Yeah.
and how, I'm just relaying it.
Yeah.
Cop in Omaha might be different.
Significantly.
Cop in New York City, it's different because of how the city is
Yeah.
and the high rises that they have.
Yeah.
And Chicago with the Cabrini Greens and the Robert Taylor homes and the high rises where like the cops, like they were so bad, like paramedics wouldn't go in it without police escorts. Those
Jeez.
high rises in Chicago and then
That bad, huh?
well, yeah, they were. Yeah, back then. Oh, yeah. And then, then you get the gangbangers that become a cop. They stay out
Really?
of trouble, but they're a gang member and they stayed out of trouble, so they become a cop. And now,
What?
oh yeah, that's not uncommon.
Oh, wow.
That was big in Chicago.
Talk about that a second.
I mean,
Like,
I don't know it.
Is it
personally,
kind of like,
but
when you reference this, is this like a almost infiltration, or is
Well,
this,
yeah,
is
a
this a
little
gang
bit.
member turning their life around?
No, I think it was the first.
An infiltration,
Yeah, that now we have somebody on the inside.
relaying information back
Yeah.
and forth,
Yeah.
like The Departed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Yeah, Matt Damon's character.
yeah, that's a fucking great movie.
That is. And so, yeah, and again, like I said, when I was still on nights, I was on nights for 6 years. And then, like, in between that time, I lost my classmate, now granted, I wasn't at the station, didn't see it. I saw that officer die in that car wreck, my classmate getting shot. Then another officer, they were in a car chase. Guy jumps out and he starts popping around, hits the officer, hit him in his right thumb, went in and then like popped out in his forearm. And like, that's all where he got shot,
Like, up through the, like, in the thumb, out through the forearm, and
forearm,
kinda out
and
the
then
elbow.
like, and then kind of he had like burnt mark on top of his forearm and where the bullet continued and stuff. And then, so we all go out there, and of course the shotgun shacks are elevated. They're like on cinder blocks.
Yeah,
And so it's not uncommon for like when we chase these turds that they dive under these homes
go underneath.
and hide. And sure enough, so we come flying up there and we're looking for him. And I look under that house and there he is, and he just shot a cop. And so we drag him out and give him some love and then put him in, arrest him. And
Positive words of affirmation. and
yes.
Yeah.
There-
I can only imagine what those words might be.
So I heard this story about this really good guy, real religious, doesn't cuss, reads the Bible every day. Great cop, really good officer, went out there and like we did, chased him. But when he was thumping these guys, he was preaching to them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is what
That's-
Jesus said.
Uh,
You stupid ass.
Well, he didn't cuss.
You stupid person.
Yes. He didn't, repent,
Yeah.
and stuff. But, and that's what, they would say like, yeah, when he was
This is the power of the Lord hitting you in the back of the head.
And, and like my night shift trainer would make
Uh.
that joke, because back then we carried the SL20s, the bigger Streamlight flashlights.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
Because we
remember
didn't have the
those.
little handheld ones yet. They didn't make them smaller yet. So we carried the bigger
The
ones.
big one.
And,
Those are heavy.
so here's a good story. So I'm driving around and I see this black guy and white guy walking down the street, when there's a perfectly good sidewalk for them to be on. There's a reason the city spends money for sidewalks, for you not to be in the street.
Tell that to these goddamn old ladies who walk around my neighborhood with their dogs out in the middle of the street.
Well, I know.
I'm like,
Well,
ladies,
that's the
And
point.
you're
It's
going to
like,
get hurt.
why
And the
you
stroller.
why are you stopping them and not the old lady walking in the street or the joggers? Well, they're not doing dope.
Yeah.
They're not wanted.
That old
Yeah.
lady's pushing her dog in a
Yeah,
stroller.
unless she's got kilos in that
Yeah.
stroller. then I
You
should-
never, wouldn't that be some shit?
well, that Clint Eastwood movie, The Mule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would, that'd be so cool.
And when I first went to narcotics, not first, but when I went to my high level squad, I was one of the first guys we got. Was an old guy,
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to stop by throughtherough.net to check out our latest episodes, merchandise, and hit that donation tab to keep content coming. See you again next week.